From archangels to fallen ones all the way to Lucifer himself, here is part 3 of the top 10 terrifying creatures the Bible tried to warn us about. Starting off in our number 10 spot, we have the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. These 4 entities are described as part of the prophecy by John in the book of Revelations. Many people take their story to mean that these horsemen are those who will bring the apocalypse and that they will be the harbingers of the last judgment. It is said that pestilence or plague will ride in on a white horse, war on a red horse, famine on a black horse, and death on a pale horse. The story in the Bible speaks of how a quarter of the Earth's population would be killed by a combination of all of the horsemen. All in all, while these horsemen definitely have creepy descriptions, nothing is as creepy as the thought of them bringing the apocalypse with them. In our number 9 spot today, we have Gabriel. So in many of the texts, angels are like the messengers of God, but they also have their own powers and abilities that they can use as they see fit. In one particular story, Archangel Gabriel is sent to announce the birth of John the Baptist to Zechariah, but when Gabriel does this, he gets a less than enthusiastic response from Zechariah. In fact, this response was one of protest, and Gabriel simply did not like that. He said, quote, "I am Gabriel, I stand in the presence of God, and I have been sent to speak to you and to bring you this good news. But now, because you did not believe my words, you will become mute, unable to speak until the day these things occur." Yeah, he just made the guy unable to speak for the next little bit until the time came that the baby arrived. Gabriel really wasn't messing around on this one. In our number 8 spot today, we have the Watchers. Honestly, Taylor and I just watched a horror movie the other night that was called Watcher, and it was really good but really creepy, but today we are not talking about a wild thriller experience, and instead we are talking about the Watchers that are angels described in the book of Daniel. Basically, the Watchers were sent down to Earth to watch over humans, which, like, how cute is that? There are some who are good and did what they were supposed to do, but the text mainly focuses on the rebellious ones. These troublemakers got distracted and subsequently fell in love with women. They then procreated with them, but this created an offspring of giants who are said to have been wreaking havoc on the world after this. Not only pillaging the earth, but also they apparently started eating people, so just bad all around. This is exactly why the Watchers made it onto the naughty list when it comes to the angel hierarchy. In our number 7 spot today, we have Abezethibou. This fallen angel is described in the Testament of Solomon. He is said to be one of the angels that followed Beelzebub upon his fall from heaven. He is the sin of pride and is known for his ability to lead people astray. He is most easily summoned in the month of July during the 5th hour of the night, and after his fall from grace, he was left with only one red wing and was condemned to hell. Abezethibou is said to have control over the imprisoned souls of the underworld, and he plays a primary role in the demon world. He himself claims that he was once an angel in what is referred to as the first heaven, and after his fall he began to roam Egypt. It is said that he was caught in the collapsing of the Red Sea, which left him crushed and subsequently imprisoned in a pillar of water, but despite this seal, Beelzebub claimed that, quote, "When he is ready, then he will come in triumph." In our number 6 spot today, we have Uriel. So remember how I talked about the Watchers coming down and then they procreated with humans and thus the giants were born? Well, of course, people didn't like this at the time, and Archangel Uriel was one of the most strongly opposed to this entire ordeal. This led him to speak up about his thoughts and feelings regarding the whole thing, and it also caused for him to come up with quite a gruesome solution. The text says, quote, "Here shall stand the angels who have connected themselves with women, and their spirits assuming many different forms are defiling mankind, and shall lead them astray into sacrificing to demons as God. Here shall they stand till the day of the great judgment, in which they shall be judged till they are made an end of. And the women also of the angels who went astray shall become sirens." Basically, Uriel flooded the earth in order to get rid of the giants and, quote, "cleanse the earth," and he sent all of the women who had these giant babies to be sirens. So, maybe not the darkest thing on this list, but certainly not the most kind thing I've ever heard in my life. In our number 5 spot today, we have Lucifer. Lucifer was an angel before he fell from grace. In the book of Isaiah, it says, quote, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?" Lucifer is now the ruler of hell, and he commands an entire army of sinners and demons, and he even tried to organize an uprising against God, so I think it's pretty clear exactly why he's a terrifying entity. He also uses his power to send terrible people to Earth in order to terrorize everyone, as well as to try and tempt non-sinners into the dark side. It is said that Lucifer also might just be the one who is responsible for the original sins that were seen in the Garden of Eden. Some believe that he is the snake who placed the temptation there. In our number 4 spot today we have Belial. Belial is one of the crowned princes of hell, but he is also known as hell's brightest fire, evil's match, and the king of evil, and he is the personification of wickedness in the Jewish faith. He is mighty and powerful, and this is likely due to the fact that he was created right after Lucifer, which is of course part of the reason why Belial belongs to his order. Belial was once an angel, but after his fall from grace he became a demon of lies and guilt, and he possesses the ability to induce any type of sin, but his favorite is the sin of lust. Belial is so evil that it's said he started a civil war in hell. While still an angel, just before his fall in the War of Heaven, Belial slayed numerous angels, and as a demon, just in general, he would slay huge demonic armies that attempted to make any moves against him or any of the other 7 great kings. In our number 3 spot today we have Asbeel. Asbeel had to be included on this list today, if for any reason, because his name literally means God forsaken or God deserter. Asbeel appears in the Book of Enoch and is the angel of ruin and one of the fallen angels from the Gregory. After leaving the angelic post and straying from the angelic duties, Asbeel dedicated his life to leading humanity astray. Asbeel completely abandoned God and his grace and wishes nothing from him. Asbeel believes that God is basically just another common celestial who has hoarded all of his power at the expense of the rest of creation. During and after his fall, Asbeel questioned why God wouldn't just completely remove any evil and malice in the hearts of his creations, and this led to him believing that God was a tyrant who only cared about worship and praise. In our number 2 spot today we have Azrael. Azrael appears in many religions in our world and is often referenced as being the angel of death. His job is to watch over those who are dying and separate the soul from the body, and he receives the spirit of the dead. Rather than being death personified, he is more thought of as being the servant to the will of God. He is, however, referred to as the embodiment of evil. Not that he is evil himself, but just the embodiment of it. He is said to have 4 faces and 4,000 wings, and his whole body is covered in eyes and tongues, which directly correlates to how many people there are on Earth. Like, imagine being visited by an angel that looks like that, and then knowing that seeing him probably means you're about to die. Just not a good situation in general. It is said that Azrael will be the last to die, and he is constantly recording and erasing the names of men at birth and death. I thought my job sometimes got a little dark, but I'll take this one over that one any day. In our number 1 spot today we have Samael. Samael is an archangel whose name means the venom of God, the poison of God, or the blindness of God. He's not just any old archangel, however, he is the archangel of death. This means that he of course has taken lives under the orders of God. It is said that his method of doing this is confronting those he's been told to kill with his sword drawn. On the tip of the sword is a poison so that when the target gets cut, while this wound may not kill them, the poison will ensure a slow and painful death. Pretty dark, right? In Hebrew lore, Samael is the prince of demons and the executioner for the death sentences handed out by God. And he is also known as a seducer. This is because he doesn't just kill people, he seduces them into sin, and then once they've sinned, he then gets instructed to kill them. So, it's just a vicious circle. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thanks so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Olivia Kozlowski, and I will see you next time. Goodbye! Alright. From archangels, all the what the f